The mundane is a cage, and for Shun Takahata, the bars are forged from the repetitive rhythm of chalk on a blackboard and the stifling silence of a life without stakes. This is where Takashi Miike's 2014 masterpiece, As the Gods Will, begins, not with a bang, but with the suffocating whimper of teenage boredom. When the skull of a teacher suddenly erupts into a fountain of red marbles, replaced by a glaring, screeching Daruma doll perched upon the podium, the cage doesn't just open, it disintegrates into a surrealist nightmare. What follows is a descent into a technicolor purgatory where the innocence of childhood play is weaponized into a high-octane engine of existential slaughter. To understand As the Gods Will, one must first surrender to the chaotic frequency of its director. Takashi Miike has never been one for the subtle or the predictable. In this adaptation of the manga by Muneyuki Kaneshiro and Akeji Fujimura, he takes the death game subgenre, a staple of Japanese storytelling, and injects it with a dose of hallucinogenic nihilism. The film does not ask why these students are being executed by deities. It asks what remains of a human being when their survival is dictated by the whims of a capricious, invisible god. It is a cinematic interrogation of the value of life, conducted through the lens of a blood-soaked playground. The first trial, the game of Daruma-san ga Kuranda, sets the tone for the entire visual experience. Instead of the visceral, grimy gore typical of 1980s slashers, Miike opts for a stylized, almost beautiful carnage. When students move and their heads explode, they do not spray gray matter, they spray translucent red beads. This choice immediately detaches the film from reality, signaling to the audience that we have entered a space where the rules of physics and biology are subservient to the aesthetic of the game. It is a brilliant subversion of horror tropes, turning a massacre into a rhythmic, terrifying dance of stillness and sudden, violent motion. As Shun survives the initial classroom culling, the scale of the nightmare expands. We are introduced to the Maneki Neko, the giant beckoning cat, prowling the school gymnasium like a furry, feline god of destruction. Here, the film shifts its focus from individual survival to the terrifying dynamics of a panicked collective. The students, clad in ridiculous mouse costumes to appease the giant predator, become a metaphor for the social hierarchies of high school itself. Only those who can balance bravery with a certain degree of cold-hearted pragmatism find their way to the next stage. It is in these moments that the character of Takeru Amaya emerges as the perfect foil to Shun. While Shun seeks to preserve his humanity and the lives of those around him, Amaya embraces the chaos. He is the child of the new world, a creature who finds ecstasy in the collapse of the old moral order. The middle chapters of the film, involving the Kagome Kagome game with wooden Kokeshi dolls and the truth-telling Shirokuma, in a frozen wasteland, slow the pace to a psychological crawl. This is where Miike proves he is a master of tension as much as he is a master of spectacle. The Shirokuma segment, in particular, is a masterclass in paranoia. The giant, fluffy bear demands honesty, and in a world where survival often depends on deception, the truth becomes the most lethal weapon of all. The white-on-white aesthetic of the snowy chamber creates a sense of sensory deprivation, making every word spoken by the characters feel like a heavy stone dropped into a deep well. It forces the audience to confront the uncomfortable reality that beneath our social masks, we are all inherently selfish beings when the shadow of the scythe looms close. Visually, the film is a kaleidoscopic fever dream. Miike utilizes CGI not to simulate reality, but to enhance the otherness of the divine entities. The dolls and statues feel tactile yet impossible, occupying an uncanny valley that heightens the viewer's unease. They represent the ultimate authority, silent, judgmental, and utterly indifferent to human suffering. The contrast between the bright, saturated colors of the game masters and the drab, gray uniforms of the students serves as a constant reminder that the world of the gods is vibrant and alive, while the world of the humans is obsolete and fading. The climax, featuring a giant Matryoshka doll and a game of kick the can that evolves into a high-stakes betrayal, brings the philosophical undertones to a boiling point. The film suggests that life is not a meritocracy, nor is it a narrative with a guaranteed satisfying conclusion. It is, quite literally, a game of luck. The final revelation, that survival was never about skill, intelligence, or morality, but simply about picking the right stick, is a crushing blow to the traditional hero's journey. It reframes the entire experience not as a test of character, but as a cosmic joke. Shun and Amaya, the two survivors, are left standing atop a floating cube in the sky, not as victors, but as toys that haven't been broken yet. As the gods will predates the global phenomenon of Squid Game by 7 years, and while they share the deadly childhood game premise, Miike's work is far more experimental and unapologetically weird. It doesn't care about social commentary regarding debt or class warfare in the same way. Instead, it is obsessed with the metaphysical. It asks what it means to be chosen. Is the survivor blessed by God, or is the survivor merely the one God finds most entertaining to keep alive for one more round? The film's ending is famously abrupt, leaving many viewers craving a resolution that never comes. However, this lack of closure is the film's final, most potent statement. In a universe governed by the will of the gods, there are no neat endings. There is only the next game, the next trial, and the inevitable realization that we are all just marbles waiting to be scattered. Shun's journey from a boy bored with life to a boy desperate to cling to it, even in a world that has lost all logic, is a haunting reflection of the human condition. We crave meaning in a world of random violence, and we look for a face in the clouds even when the clouds are raining blood. In the pantheon of Japanese cinema, As the Gods Will stands as a vibrant, jagged monument to Miike's audacity. It is a film that refuses to be categorized, hopping from horror to comedy to philosophical drama with a manic energy that mirrors the pulse of its protagonist. It treats the audience like a player in its own game, constantly shifting the goalposts and defying expectations. Whether you view it as a cynical critique of modern apathy or a celebratory explosion of creative violence, one thing remains certain. Once you have looked into the unblinking eyes of Miike's Daruma doll, the mundane world will never look quite the same again. It is a reminder that while we may complain of boredom, the alternative, the focused, terrifying attention of a god, is far more than any of us are prepared to handle.